Something Else podcast.
Mental health. Yes, this episode is all about mental health. I'll be talking about my own experiences with it, how I think it affects us in both good and bad. I'm not really going to talk about other people's experiences with it because I don't know them and I don't really want to say things that are either incorrect or false, even though they're both the same thing. Anyway, I have done a mental health episode before, and that was, I think, during or maybe just after lockdown. I can't remember. It was one of the early ones, really. The first real serious podcast. But I wanted to talk about it again because of something that's kind of everywhere now, really, which is the Olympics. Now, I mean, as of this recording, this is the 2nd? Yeah, the 2nd of August 2021. So, Tokyo Olympics, it's amazing. But one athlete really, one gymnast has kind of dominated really, and that's Simone Biles. If I butchered the name again, I do apologise. I could say that with the simplest of names and say I've butchered it. But she's like god tier gymnast, she's phenomenal. But the reason why I want to talk about her is because she stepped out of a couple of events and there's been a massive backlash to what she'd done. So people are saying how she's a disgrace, she shouldn't be on the US team. She's, basically raised the middle finger to America, all that sort of stuff. Now, so someone even said, this was one of the comments on Twitter, I think it was, where, she's robbed another person of their Olympic place. And I'm like, hang on, let's just look at what's happened. Let's look at the detail. Now, like I said, she's god tier above most, if not all. And there's a lot of pressure on that. And I can't remember the Olympian that said it for us. It was one of the swimmers, where they were talking about, people have this idea that when you're at the top of the game and when you've won everything, it's easier. And he was like, well, it's not. It's the complete opposite, because you've set yourself a standard and you have to reach that standard. Because if you don't reach that standard again, people are just, they've lost it. And I think that's quite true. I'm going to try and think of things that I've done before, what I've done, and I've kind of measured it up to that. So one of the examples for myself, it nowhere near Olympic level, but when I wrote a song for, what was it? I think it was the second band I was in. And for me, it was one of the best riffs I'd ever wrote. It was a proper big kind of metal riff. No, it's probably the best thing I've ever wrote. And I kind of hit a wall with it. Kind of like how writers have writer's block. I hit this wall and I couldn't write anything. I couldn't think of anything. It was weird. And there was no way I was ever going to get past it. And months went by before I wrote anything else. And in a similar way, it's very much like Simone Biles. I'm just going to say it like that now. And it was a case of, she called it the twisties, where she basically had a mental block. I think it was also she just kind of lost her, not idea of space, but she was just lost literally everything. She wasn't aware of her own surroundings, balance and everything. She fully not just lost it mentally, but it affected her physically. And I'm there thinking, how are people so quick to bark at this girl, or woman rather, for pulling out of an event because she is not fit for it, in a blunt way. And it just got me really, got me thinking about it all again, for myself and people I know. And it was mental health is still I don't know, it's a taboo subject, isn't it? I said it, I'm pretty sure I said it in the last one, where, you could go to work, I know I've done it. I had 2 back operations, and I came back and how are you? I'm like, oh yeah, my back cut open, blah, blah, blah. It's oh wow, it's amazing. I know people that broke their arms, what did you do? And I'm like, fell down the stairs. But then someone comes in oh, where you been? Oh, I was off for stress. Oh, okay. If you need me, I'm here. And I'm like, okay. You know what I mean? People don't know how to respond to it. And it's because it's everywhere, but still unknown, still like I said, a taboo subject. And I think it's a weird one because it shouldn't be. Everyone knows it shouldn't be. It's like, take me for example. I have a load of things going on. I love doing the podcasts. I'm hoping to get a good following because I want to just take it a little bit further. I love playing music, so I play in a band. Hopefully we can get some gigs in. And then before lockdown, I was doing pretty well in my photography. I had a couple of shoots booked. I'd done cake smashes, weddings, christenings, you name it. I even did some music videos. That was amazing. One of them wasn't. Not that hurt. Mentally, that hurt. But what I'm getting at is you need to take time out for yourself. Now, a lot of people are very much like me. They'll always put everyone else before themselves. Now, we shouldn't be doing that. You should always look after number one. It's the first thing you ever get taught in first aid. When you're a paediatric first aid, like if you work in a school or something, or just generally being a first aider, who's more important, you or the casualty? Now, most people will say the casualty, and I'm like, well, hell no, because say if there's a casualty just been hit by a car and I'm running across the road and I get hit by a car, I'm fucked. There's no way I'm going to save him, am I? So you always have to look out for yourself, and that was a really weird lesson to learn. And I learned it in my last job, like just really putting myself first, and I felt so much better for it. And as I said in the previous episode, my dad passed away, and his lessons always stuck with me, and he was the one that taught me that, sometimes you've got to be a bastard, essentially. And that's what's going to happen. You've got to learn to go against, I guess, your natural instinct. So it's, for me anyway, I've got some things here. Like, I know, I do tend to bottle things up. I'm getting better at talking. But I do tend to bottle things up. And a lot of people will because they don't want to give their burdens to someone else. But, what was it? A problem shared is a problem halved. That sort of thing. I think I said that one right. And it's true because you do feel better. I do lots of journal writing. A lot of my stuff I put into music anyway, lyrically at least. And I think if there's no outlet, how are you going to look after yourself? And I think this is going to sound mean, but people aren't strong enough to put themselves first. And I know I've just gone off on a tangent here, but I will high five, salute, standing ovation, anything for Simone Biles for what she did. Because she identified, you know what? I'm not ready for this. And she walked away. I've always seen it as she's achieved everything, she's won everything, but she's still got that hunger, but she recognised, you know what? I'm not feeling this one. And when you look at some of her performances, you can see you can see it in the eyes, really. And I think it's knowing you've got to put yourself first. Like, there's a lot of stuff I want to do, like, I love streams, like doing gaming streams. I'd happily do that as a career. You know what I mean? I like to entertain people. I like to play games. I like to be in front or behind the camera. It depends what I'm doing. Hey, no. I don't know why I'm motioning scratch. I'm the one who's filming. There's no one behind the camera. This got very weird very quickly. You know what? I don't need that anymore. I don't need it. But what I'm getting at is, you've got to really look at yourself and think, obviously depending on what you're doing, if you keep hearing bumping, it's my chair on the table behind me. Like, let's use me as an example. I would love to do streams because I do love gaming. I love the community of gaming. It's not an easy thing to live off, obviously, because a classic one, money doesn't buy you happiness. Bullshit, it does buy you happiness. Without money, you can't live in a house. Without money, you can't eat. Obviously, you can. But my point is, money, yeah, it's not the cure to happiness, but it's a factor. And, who doesn't want to live in like a £500,000 house with more money than you know what to do with? Because, it's a fantasy, isn't it? Now, for me, I'd love to work for myself. I do not want to work for anyone. Even now, I don't want to work for anyone. I want to work for me. I want to do what I do. I want to be me. And you can't. generally in the jobs you get, your normal jobs. So what I found was there's got to be a balance. Now I've got a family, me, Sam and Ted. I've got to support them. So if I just said, yeah, I'm going to quit my job and do podcasts, do the streams, do this, do that, I'll be a fool because I have no income then. So it's a case of thinking, well, what can I do? I've got a job, I still enjoy it. I don't really want to do it anymore, but I enjoy it. So I'm going to carry on. I'll put everything I've got into it while I can. But at the same time, I'm going to be pushing for this. Like, if I can get my photography back up, everything's relatively back to normal now in Britain, so we can do things. So I'll be pushing the advertisements for my photography. I mean, this is a perfect example of what I do, pop-up photography sort of thing. And it makes me happy because I can start pushing it again. And it's like with my dad passing, like that really, really hurt me to levels I've never known I had. But then at the same time, I can hear him, you know what I mean? I can hear him saying, what are you doing? You know what you need to do. Go and do this, you spanner, that sort of thing. And that's what keeps me going. That's what keeps my mental health going. And it's I can think, oh God, I need to find a job to do this or do that because I need to support Sam and Ted. I need to do this, I need to do that. Oh my God, what am I going to do? But at the same time, that'll drag me down. So I try and find that balance. Because if I can do this for a living, talking to you guys, giving you some of my weird brain activity, that'll be amazing. If I can go and shoot some people's weddings or parties, that'll be amazing. And that's what helps me. I've got so many things on the go, like the machines behind me. I know that's just a drill, but I started doing a bit of woodwork when my dad passed away. Initially just making roses for the funeral for everyone to wear. But it kind of gave me such I don't want to say like a tranquil feeling, but it took me to a nice little equilibrium where I was absolutely gutted, sad, depressed, angry, everything because my dad had died. But then I was kind of in a happy place because I had this kind of meditation with this wood carving and everything. And I think, again, it's identifying yourself, what you want. But what I'm going to do, because I forgot I haven't got a drink with me, I'm going to get a drink. Yeah, that's what I'm going to do. I am all topped up on drink. I don't have any of my vanilla cola anymore from Candy Crush because I've drank it, so I need to get some more. But I did see on his Instagram that he's got some blue Pepsi. But I'm drinking Asda's cola. But anyway, back to where I was left off. And I think I was talking about identifying yourself. So let's get back to that. So what do I mean by identifying yourself? You've got to identify what's getting to you. So I know generally a lot of my worries are on money because I'm in not a very well paid job. To a degree, I reckon failure. You know what I mean? Like when I would do streams, I don't like it if I'm not picking up any viewers or same with the podcast. If I'm not getting the listenings, if I'm not getting if my community's not growing, I get a bit done over by that. So you've got to identify what's causing you bad mental health. And then you've got to identify, and this is something my dad taught me and it helped Sam, got to identify if you can change it. So use me as an example. I want to grow this community of the Something Else podcasts. The only way I'm going to grow that is by really pushing for it. Statuses, hashtags, tweets, you name it. I've got to do all that. Put as many of these out as I can. But that's down to me. Obviously I can say share, like, I don't know, follow, whatever. But it's all down to me. Now, let me think, I don't know, Bitcoin makes me feel suddenly really sad. Can I control it? Hell no. So if I can't control it, why waste my brain on it? See what I'm getting at? And that's what my dad always said. If you can't change it, don't think about it. Because what's the point? You're just going to wear yourself out anyway. So let's recap. What's making you sad, I'll say, because that's as easy a term as I can get. Can you change it? If not, don't fucking think about it. If you can change it, how can you change it? So, use me again. This time we use photography. I want to start taking pictures of people's of their weddings again. I want to do some of that. So how can I do it? I can share my pages. I can share my catalogs. I can maybe do some free things, free events and stuff. I've done it before and it worked really well. Give us some cars, flyers, that sort of thing. So I can do that. And you've got to think on that sort of thing. What is it that making you sad? Can you change it? If you can, how can you change it? One thing I'll always say is give yourself some time. I never do that. I never give myself enough time. And that's when I find my mental health plummets. I just did the wickedest speech spit there ever. I just freaking flew. But what you want to do is really think about not a goal. Set goals. Goals are good, but don't get disheartened if you don't reach them. So when I first started up my MTF photography, Moments to Frame, my aim was I wanted to be fully booked in 2019. Didn't happen. But it annoyed me because excuse me. I went to laugh and started to choke. What I found was I'd get a lot of people that say, oh, yeah, I'll get back to you. I'm like, oh, wicked. So I'd pencil them in. No one ever gets back in touch with you. So it was learning how to cope with things. So if someone says, I'll get back in touch with you, take that as a no. If they do, sweet. So you've got to think, what's not an end game, because mental health is a long-term process. It's going to be with you till the day you die, unfortunately. So we've got to start evaluating it, I guess, rethinking. So what I'm saying is, think about what's making you sad, in a vague way. Can you change it, yes or no? How can you change it? What's the plan? Now, this is the biggest step, kind of in my thinking. You've got to look out for yourself. Now, I've touched on this before, but you've got to be a bastard. So you've got to think, I know. Here's a scenario. You go to work. And you go in Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, you have a Thursday off. And on that Thursday, you got something big planned because it's your time. You're going to go and see, I don't know, a family member or a friend you haven't seen in years. Or you're going to go and see, I don't know, something you don't want to miss, like a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. And your boss says, oh, can you work tomorrow because blah, blah's not in, or oh, we've got this person coming down. And if you say this or anything similar, I will smack you in the face. I can probably come in for a couple of hours, or, oh, I might be able to, but I've got this thing. You know what the boss hears? They don't hear, I might be able to, or oh, I've got this thing. They hear, able to, or yes, I can. They don't hear the but. They don't hear I've got to do this. They just hear what they want to hear. So if someone ever says that to you, you go, no, I cannot. They don't need a reason for why. Okay? You don't owe no one a reason for anything unless they are a problem to you. Now that is the biggest thing you need to learn, really. Respect yourself. Don't think about what other people say. I see a lot of, I'm pointing to a computer if you're watching this, that's why my arm's now off frame. But I see a lot of YouTubers, Twitch streamers that get so riled up about comments or, I don't know, stuff like that. And I'm like, why? You know what I mean? It's like, for every good, there'll be a bad. And for some reason, bad always outweighs the good. I've seen Transformers. The Autobots hardly ever win. When they do, it's amazingly short-lived. So, think about what you want, not what anyone else wants. Like, if you're a young person now watching this stream, I'm definitely not picking my nose. I'm rubbing that part just above the philtrum. But if you're in school, in college, in uni or something, I don't know. Probably more to the school age. And you've got to decide what you want to be. I will tell you now, only a selected few will know what they want to be. Like one of my sisters, she knew exactly what she wanted to be, and she is that right now. And she's happy doing what she's doing right now. God damn, these coughs are getting tough. But if you don't know what you want to do, that is fine. That is normal. My best mate, he's just like me. He's had many career ideas. Like originally I wanted to be a stuntman, then a fireman, then a marine archaeologist. Then I was a forensic scientist. Now I work with children. I want to do forest school. I want to do podcasts. I want to do, streams, photography. I've got loads of different routes I can go, but I need to really focus the energy. Otherwise, I'm not going to get anywhere with anything. But you've got to... I've lost my train of thought now. What was I getting at? Oh, not knowing what you want to be. And that's fine. Because at some point, it will click and you will be like, that's what I want to be. Does that make sense? People won't agree with what you want to be. They won't... Some people just won't want to support you. And that's fine. Because all you need is you. You know, obviously, support helps, but you are important. Remember that. This is the main thing I want to get from this episode is you are important. It doesn't matter what anyone else thinks. You are important. And I can't stress that enough, if I'm honest. Like, I could reel off scenarios and my own experiences, but you need to understand you are enough. Doesn't matter what anyone else thinks. You are what matters. If you have no belief in yourself, you will not get anywhere. If you do not feel you can succeed at something, you will not. Life is hard, but it's probably the longest game you'll ever play. You know what I mean? It's the longest thing you're ever going to own, so make it fucking count. And it's taken me a long time to realise that. And there we go again with the coughs. It's getting emotional. And I think you've just got to realise that. Nothing's going to happen overnight. If it does, fucking sweet. But you've really got to just push. Keep pushing. We're going to have bad days. We all have bad days. But it's knowing, don't be strong for anyone else. Be strong for you. If you're supporting your family, if you're going through hard times, if you're not able to support yourself, how are you going to support them? If you're in a job, if you aren't looking after yourself, how are you going to look after your role? How is your role then going to impact? That's what you got to see. You know, we are basically cogs in a machine. Society is our machine, so to speak. It's our transformer. It's our robot. And we're just little cogs in this machine. You know what I mean? Machine mean. I'm rhyming today. So what you've got to realise is, if you aren't working, nothing else is going to work around you. So if you're trying to, I don't know, do better in your job, but you yourself are suffering, your role, your job will suffer. Maybe not the company itself or whatever it is, but it's going to impact. So look after yourself. Like I said, from the moment I started this podcast, it's going to be all over the shop because I kind of scripted it and I very much didn't. But that's what I'm trying to get at. Mental health is everywhere, yet it's ignored. Okay? It's fine to feel like shit. It's fine to feel like the world's ending. It's normal. It's not weird. It's fine. It's how we get over that. It's how we jump that hurdle. And the way to jump it is to know that you are the main part. You are the key to it. Okay? And I've learned that the hard way. My wife learnt it the hard way. Loads of people I know have learnt it the hard way. But we get through it. No, there's a classic saying over here. Keep calm, carry on. You know what I mean? Look calm above the level. Like a duck. Look calm above the water. But underneath, you're paddling like crazy. And that's how it's got to be. It will always be that way. You've just got to understand yourself. You know, I'm no expert with this. I'm just going through my own experiences and what's helped me. And it is helping, you know. I guess what the things you could take from this is be a bastard and look after yourself. And on that, I'm going to end this podcast. But please, you know, if you ever want to talk to someone, talk to them. Don't feel that you're becoming weak if you want to go and see a therapist. Don't feel you're giving up if you talk to someone. You are not. There are people out there to help you. I have humongous ears. I will listen to you. And I have a fancy hat. That makes me look professional. That honestly, it doesn't matter where in the world you are, there will be someone to help you. Because, let's be honest, we are awesome. You are awesome. My computer's awesome. My floor is awesome. And without them, we wouldn't be doing anything we're doing right now, will we? So, that's going to be the end of this episode. Remember you are awesome, be a bastard, and rule the goddamn planet. Thank you very much. Bye.